Okay, hello everybody. My name is Holly and I will be the teacher for this hour. This will be more or less a free discussion class and the topic is on things that annoy you. So come and be prepared to talk as much as possible and you should have fun with that. So we have two people here already. Hi Rafa, how are you today?
I'm pretty fine, thank you. A little sleepy, but
Uh-huh.
trying to do my best in your class.
Yeah. Okay, great. What time is it there?
7 o'clock in the morning,
7 o'clock. And you're in
Spain.
Spain. Okay. That's okay. And then Haj Nalka, how do you say your name?
My name is Cornell.
Cornell. Okay.
Yeah, from Hungary.
Oh yes, yes, I
Yeah.
remember.
How is your dog?
Oh, he's doing pretty well. Alpo, you want to come? You want to come meet a Hungarian? Come here, baby boy.
Yeah.
Come on. Tuletane. Come on over. When I first started teaching, no, he's not interested. When I first started teaching online, I would be having so much fun, and he was younger. He would jump on my lap and look into the screen to see why I was having so much fun. But now it's been 8 years, and so now he doesn't care. And plus, it's midnight here, and so he wants to go to sleep. So.
You must be very tired.
No, actually, I'm not. I get really energized when I'm teaching, so I'm not not tired at all.
Yeah. It is 8 a.m. in Hungary morning.
It's in the morning there.
Yeah.
So yeah. For me, I'm a night owl, if you know what that means. There's the night owls and then there's early birds.
Yeah.
And I'm a night owl. I like to have classes at night and so forth.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Rafa, are you awake?
Yes, of course, I'm awake. I'm also an early bird by now, because due to the age, I am waking up earlier and earlier every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you are starting to become more and more of an early bird as the days go by. So, okay. Yeah, and Daniel has asked me to upload something real quick from the last class, and so I'm doing that real quick. So bear with me a moment. So so bear with me just one moment while I try to do two things at once, and I never can. But yeah, if you ever take a class from me and you want the PowerPoint, and I have not already uploaded it, let me know and I will upload it so that you can have it. So that's what I just did. Okay, so Donnell, it's done. So okay, what the topic is today is things that annoy you. Oh, and by the way, Rafa, have you seen a picture of my dog?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason Cornell asked about it is he was born in Hungary.
Yeah.
So so anyway, let's go ahead and get started on things that annoy you. This class is it's pretty much a 100% fluency class. So what I will be doing is as you are talking, I will be writing on the chat, writing feedback on the chat on the side of the classroom, so that I don't have to stop you. And keep in mind that there is a difference between an error and a mistake. Do you guys know the difference between an error and a mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
do?
heard
Okay.
in your class a mistake is something that you do in your language when you are talking,
Uh-huh.
could be, and an
Yeah, a
error.
slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An error is when you are doing something that you don't be aware what is
Yeah,
happening or something
you
like
don't
that.
know that you're doing it. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. And things that annoy you. The first thing we're going to start out by doing on this activity is brainstorm. And what I'd like you guys to do is brainstorm things that annoy you. Okay, so what are things that annoy you? And as you guys brainstorm and as you come up with things that annoy you, I will write it down. Okay, so Rafa, why don't you start? What is something that is? What are some things that annoy you? Anything that your wife or kids or anybody does that annoy you?
No, I don't want to talk about my wife because
Okay, don't talk about your wife.
I have a lot of things to deal with
Yeah,
her.
that's
One of the most annoying thing that make me crazy is when people talk aloud uh, at the bar, at the restaurant, or in the pub, talking aloud. Perhaps sometimes I can go with it, but many times I became very disgusting with this issue.
okay.
Uh,
So I become very disgusted.
mhm.
And um, okay. Um, so when people talk too loud in public
Too loud.
places, too
Too
loud,
loud.
and is that pretty common in Spain?
In Spain, everyone talk aloud in everywhere.
They talk
Because
too loud.
they talk too loud. Because we are a country that has a lot of sunny days, and people stay outside every time, all the time. Talking aloud is used to talk
Uh-huh.
aloud in everywhere. I'm
Uh-huh.
getting used. Sometimes it's very funny. It's very shows that people are very happy, but in other occasions it's difficult to deal with it.
hmm I am similar to you in that I usually avoid public places where people are going to be really loud and there's loud music and because I cannot hear the conversation around because there's so much noise and I usually avoid those places. So yeah, Cornell, what is something that annoys you?
Yeah, I can confirm Rafa opinion because I was in Spain, South Spain, in honeymoon.
Uh-huh.
3 years ago, and Spanish guys and girls are very very loud in public places. Yeah, but I think it is general in Spain,
hmm
isn't it, Rafa?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
general in Spain.
It is general behavior in behavior in Spain.
hmm Rafa, is that true that it's normal behavior in Spain?
I couldn't hear properly. If you could repeat, Hannah, I would like to hear you.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
So could you repeat yourself and just speak a little slower, maybe, Cornell?
Yeah.
Could you speak a little bit slower?
Yeah. Rafa, I was in Spain, in Andalusian, uh,
Hmm.
3 years ago. I was my honeymoon, and I
Hmm.
think uh, Spanish guys and girls are louding in public places. I think it is a general behavior in Spain. What do you
Yeah.
think concerning this subject?
Yes, I agree with you. As I said before, Spain is a country that is always with sun.
Always sunny.
Also, is very sunny. Also in winter, and people are on the street many times every day, and they are speaking too loud in public places many times. It could be
Mhm.
funny, but on the other hand, perhaps it's so disgusting
Yeah.
sometimes. But I went to Hungary too, and people are on the street too. Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and people talk on the street, in the shop at the corner, on the pubs, and speak also too loud. I think it's people, every country near to the Mediterranean area, it's it's with the same behavior,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
But if you go up to the north,
It's
Yeah,
different.
and expect Scandinavian states because Scandinavian people are very calm.
yeah. The thing is, I remember when I first moved to the state to Finland in 1989. Um, I was very, no, I mean, not 89, 99, sorry, 98,
Mm.
1998. Okay. I was very surprised with how quiet everybody was. That to them, if they don't have anything to say, they don't say anything at all. And so it's totally fine to sit at a table and nobody speaks.
Yeah.
But I remember going to the buses were all very quiet most of the time, and I remember going from Finland to Sweden, and I was going to meet a friend, and I remember getting off the boat and getting on the bus, and everybody was speaking. And I'm like, oh, I'm not in Finland anymore. So it become compared to and even the Finns will say this, that silence is golden and they don't talk. So but they've also said, and it's really strange for them, when they go to Spain, and Spain is one of the most popular tourist destinations for them, and when they go to Spain, when they get on the airplane, all of a sudden they're really talkative and they start talking, and they're very talkative in Spain. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, if you really want to go somewhere that's really calm and very quiet, and people are just even the airport is quiet.
With the planes, also the plane.
Yeah, well, I'm weird about missing my airplane. So when I first moved to my first trip back to the States, I got to the airport 6 hours early, and it was quiet the whole time. And then I flew to the States, and I flew into Tennessee, into Memphis, and all of a sudden I heard this noise. So, anyway, okay, what's Cornell? What's something else that annoys you?
Um, First important that is annoying me it is if somebody promises me something and she or he doesn't promise it, so it is not acceptable for me.
So okay, so when someone makes a promise
Yeah, and
and
she was
does
and
not
she or
does not do what they
he
say.
doesn't keep it and then doesn't do,
Hmm.
yeah, what they said. Yeah, it is a main problem. Uh, yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I think that is quite common.
Yeah, regarding private life and concerning work life, it is not acceptable for me.
Hmm. And even in private life
Yeah.
and so forth. So, I have a tendency to nowadays, when people invite me to a party, I now usually say maybe
Mhm.
because so much of the times I'm not able to make it for
Yeah,
one reason or another. So I'm always saying maybe. I don't commit
yeah.
for that reason.
Maybe it is not enough answer. I think yes or no.
Really? Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, because who is who is arranging the party, she or he can make an arrange and make a preparation for a number of visiting person.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, um, Rafa, do you have anything to say uh, about this annoying thing that Cornell doesn't like?
Yes, on the line, I could add that in the ancient times, when I was
Uh-huh.
young,
Uh-huh.
people who says something stay with their words all the time, and you could promise anything, or someone could promise you anything, and the words ran every time. But nowadays, felt I am feeling a change due to the crisis. I think in Europe we are having a crisis, as everybody knows, and the south part more than others. The words of the in business, the promises in a deal, nobody knows what it's could happen.
Yeah.
Nobody has a word, a promise that continues on the time. Things are changing every time, and you cannot believe in anyone because
Hmm.
everything is changing at every moment.
Yeah.
2 days ago, I am trying to rent an apartment, and the word that the renter told me never knows what happened. It was different the day after. And things are changing right now,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
When you talk about a crisis, are you talking about a financial crisis?
Yeah, about
Uh-huh.
the financial
So,
crisis.
is Europe expecting, because right now in the U.S., many people are predicting that the dollar is going to,
Going
um,
down?
yeah, the many people are saying, um, uh, people are saying that the U.S. economy is going to crash.
Going to crash. Yeah.
Yeah, have you heard that?
Hmm.
And now I've also heard that when the U.S. economy coughs or sneezes, the
Hmm.
rest of the world has the flu.
Hmm.
Have you heard that?
Yes,
uh,
also about China.
yeah, China as
But
well.
Holly, what is the reason of U.S. economic crisis?
Um, uh, I don't really know very much, but I think it has more to do with the fact that we are for maybe for 20 or 30 years we have been spending more than we are taking in, and and because of that, um, we just don't have any money, and we keep borrowing from ourselves and borrowing from ourselves and borrowing from ourselves, and eventually the dollar is just not going to be worth anything. But
I,
that's from what my understanding. Do you want? Can you explain it, Rafa? Do you understand why the U.S. economy is going to crash?
I think is mm, a financial crisis around the world because many reasons. One of them is the real estate bubble. This one point. Also Lehman Brothers and other agencies has been very tricky in the last decades, and for this reason, all the financial environment has been going down. And as you said before, if United States has a cough, the whole world has a flu. And I think the financial crisis began in the United States and later on went to Europe, and nowadays the financial crisis is a fact. Nobody knows what to deal with it, and it's affecting a lot of people. But the main reason, in my opinion, is due to the greed. I don't know, greed.
Due to greed, yeah.
Greed people. Capitalism is so sharp, so violent that greedy people has been taking the money of everyone. Nowadays, there are a rate of poverty bigger than other decades.
Yeah. Well, because one of the things that I've heard is it's going to get worse in the U.S. Right now, we were starting to recover from the real estate bubble, and what they are saying is people are predicting that it will get worse, and some people are predicting it will only be bad in the U.S. and the rest of the world will go on, and other people are saying it will be a worldwide crisis that's even worse than it was. So I don't know. But I think, but that has much to do with exactly what Cornell says. People make promises and they don't do what they don't keep their promise.
Yeah, and as far as I know, U.S. economic is still stable and growth.
Yeah, right now it is. Right now it's actually the most stable that it's been in the last 10 years. Maybe not 10 years, probably since 2009, 2008. It's become very stable. Real estate is coming back. The realtors are starting to sell houses and stuff, and the unemployment is now down to 6%, and it will continue going down. But I've been hearing people say that no, it's going to go back. The economy is going to get worse. So.
Yeah, I have a question to Rafa concerning unemployment situation in Spain. As far as I know, it is very high.
Perhaps I am having connection problems. I didn't get properly. Could you repeat, please?
Yeah, as far as I know, an unemployment situation is very high in Spain.
Yeah, sure, more than 16%.
How many percent?
60%?
16%.
Oh, 16%. I thought I heard 60. I went, oh.
but Mediterranean people is so crazy sometimes. It's not real. I think there are many jobs under the table. People are trying to avoid paying taxes, and this is a costume in the Mediterranean area. There are a lot of corruption in many ways, and people are living properly, are living well, but the statistics are different. There are many things under the table here.
Yeah, so
Italy too.
So the statistics. Can you repeat after me? Statistics.
Statistics. Oh.
Statistics.
Statistics.
Okay, you can keep practicing
Okay.
statistics. Um, but yeah, that's one thing that I was told when I lived in Finland. They had a lot of times they had 20% unemployment, and sometimes it was. I think before 2009 it had gone down to 12%, but it was still pretty bad. And they said that it's either between 12 and 20% depending on how you count it and what you're looking at to who is unemployed. And that's the same in the States. In the States, they are only counting people who are taking unemployment benefits,
Mhm.
but they are not including people who have quit looking for jobs.
Mhm.
And so the statistics are not actually accurate.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cornell?
yeah. You are right.
Yeah. What is it? What is the unemployment rate in Hungary?
Um, I think it is quite acceptable. It is about over 5%.
Okay, so it's not really that bad.
Yeah, I think it is okay, uh, I think there is a huge problem in Spain and in Portugal as well.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Many people from Spain to go to, for example, North Island and England to get a job.
Question for you guys. In my country, one problem that we're having is that young people are graduating from high school and they are not getting a job and they are not going to school. They're just kind of lost. Are have you
Yeah.
seen that in your country?
The same is here. There are a generation right now, the young people that have more than one degree in economics, in politics, and perhaps another master in another thing. They
Mhm.
are they are very well prepared, better than other people, but
Mhm.
they can't find a job right now.
Oh wow.
There is a word here in Spain to this generation. It's called the nini. Nini is without
Oh.
they without job, without house, without future many times, and
Uh-huh.
perhaps this is the most difficult thing to deal with it right now. Young people has no hope in the
They have,
future.
yeah, the young people have no hope. Yeah, yeah. In the States, it's not really the people who've gone to university. Some of them are lost when they graduate, but it's actually the kids who choose not to go to university.
Wow.
And so they like my niece is 23 and she holds a job about 6 months out of the year, and the rest of the time she just and her boyfriend is the same way, both of them. And they move from they live with her family, then they live with his family, then they live with friends, and they're just kind of like floating through life. No school, no goals, no job. I, I don't even know how they pay for anything. So
And is there any funds to go to the high school in USA regarding families?
is there any, do you mean funds to help these kids?
Funds, money.
Money, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no. They could get money. For example, it's really sad because my brother is a veteran,
Hmm?
and he was able to work it out that his kids could go to college and go to college for free, and get a stipend of $900 a month, and she's not doing it. So she could, if she would go to college and study, she could get money for doing that because of what my brother was able to work out, but she just won't do it. We're not sure why, but her older sister is doing that. But there aren't really any funds for kids who are there. There are funds for people if they're mentally or physically handicapped. But if they're normal people, there is really nothing for them. So it's really sad. I mean, I just hear about my niece and I say I just want to, and I know that she and her boyfriend are not the only kids their age that are doing that. So anyway, let's go on. Rafa, can you think of something else that annoys you?
Yes. Other things that annoyed me a lot is people who is very discriminatory or racist.
Okay.
Racist.
Okay. Racist. People.
Race.
You could either say people who are. Now let's just say racist. That's the easiest way. We just say racists.
Racist people.
Yeah, just racist. You don't even have to have people because that would actually be a noun. Is there racism in Spain?
People here is
people here are
people here are very easygoing. In the first cap of the iceberg, they are not racist, but in the deeply, I think every country has a lot of racism inside the culture. Perhaps there are differences between some countries and another country, but at the end, all the difference people, it's difficult to deal with it. There are some racism, any kind of racism in everywhere, at least in my opinion. Also
so
in Spain.
You're not saying Russian, you're saying racism, right? Racism. So the racist are the people, and racism is what they're doing. So you basically get annoyed at racism. But one of the things, work on the pronunciation, because what I kept hearing was Russian, and I don't think you meant Russian, the Russian people, did you? Because that sounded racist. so
it's difficult.
Yeah. So it's racism. I mean, and I agree with you. I think that everyone has, on the surface, everybody wants to say yes, we accept everybody, but in deep down, most of us are racist one way or another. So, what do you think, Cornell? Do you agree or disagree?
I agree, and I have a question to Rafa. Racism is bigger in south of Spain comparing to north of Spain due to black people from Africa.
So is racism bigger in the south versus the north due to the Africans?
Coming
due to the immigrants.
Coming people from Africa, because as I mentioned before, I was on honeymoon in South Spain, and I realized that there are many people from Africa in Malaga and Cordoba in South Spain.
I have a question before for you. What do you think about Malaga and Granada? Did you like it?
Yeah. It is very beautiful, and I was enjoying all days in that region. Yeah,
Mm,
and I was also in Gibraltar and Cordoba.
mm,
Uh, yeah,
very nice. Brilliant. Well, yeah, I think people from the south is more is more easygoing than in the north, and they don't. They are getting used to people that arrive, immigrants that arrive from Africa.
yeah,
The Africa question is so sad because there are many people that are trying to get Europe from
Hmm.
perhaps 5,000 kilometers, and they came from Central Africa, walking down on the desert, trying to get Europe, thinking that Europe is the paradise. They arrived to the south of Spain because it's easier to cross the Mediterranean Sea by this way, and they find at the end that Europe is not a paradise. It's a place with a lot of crises, with a rate of under unemployment, and it's so sad, this history. But
Yeah.
people at the south are getting used to people from Africa, and they live with them very comfortable.
Hmm.
It's less racist, I think, the south.
You know, the situation that is happening with Spain and also Italy is running into that as well. Um, uh, with all the European Africans coming in, the U.S. is running into the same problems with people from South and Central America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and have you and did you hear about the like I guess like 5,000 young people under the age of 18 showed up, and Obama said, "Come on in." so so the conservative Americans are all angry. So, but anyway, so it's interesting though that the people in the South, you said they're easygoing. Another thing you could say is the people in South are more tolerant,
More tolerant, yeah.
yeah, than the people in the North. And I guess that's true because the once you get around people that are different from you, you realize they're not really all that different. You know, we're all very similar. So.
yeah, and going back to Holly's original question regarding racism in Hungary. Uh, uh, the main problem is the gypsies in Hungary.
I've heard that.
Yeah, there are many in Hungary, and unfortunately, gypsies are not willing to get a job.
hmm
Yeah,
It,
and
but is that because they're choosing not to, like in Finland, the ones that have problems with getting jobs continue wearing traditional dress, and they choose not to blend in.
yeah,
Is that the same way
yeah,
in Hungary?
yeah,
Yeah.
and gypsies uh, are waiting for a support from Hungarian government, but as I mentioned before, n- they are not willing to find a job, and yeah,
hmm Yeah. It's a difficult situation.
and
So.
many gypsies emigrated to Canada and France and England to get some support from that government.
I've heard about in some in Finland. There's some gypsies that they get the government help, the social security in Finland, and then they once a month take the boat over to Sweden and 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 get money from the Swedish government as well. and they're just double dipping from two countries.
Clever people.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty funny, actually. So I heard about that, and um, so anyway, what about Cornell? Can you think of something else that that annoys you? And then we're going to go on to some structured questions.
Yeah. Well, since I have been working for uh, automotive suppliers as a buyer, and
Uh-huh.
we have many German suppliers, and uh, I am very annoyed that I realize that I give a call to German supplier, and uh, they are not able to speak in English. So
Oh,
so
okay.
they are not willing to learn another language
Uh,
except German.
yeah. How so people who are not willing to learn English or another language, or let's see, or the language they need. How about what do you think of foreigners who go to Hungary and don't learn Hungarian?
Sorry.
Have you ever met any foreigners who go to Hungary and they don't learn Hungarian?
Mm, could you please describe your question? But
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, I'll write it down at the same time. Have you ever met any foreigners in Hungary?
What was the last word?
Foreigners,
The foreigners. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, in Hungary,
Yeah.
who have not bothered to learn Hungarian because everybody speaks English.
Yeah. Hungarian language is very hard to learn it, and languages in Hungary is are English and English and German regarding visiting people.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, see, Hungarian is the sister to Finnish, so they have the same grammatical structure. So,
Yeah.
but um, but what do you think, Rafa, of people who are just not willing to learn English even though they need it for their job? Have you ever run into people like that?
Yeah, teach English, at least in my country, is one of the better business that you can find, because people from Latin area are, for us, it's very difficult. I don't know why. There are many research that is say that this is for the intonation and other aspect. It's so difficult to learn English for Latin people. For this reason, teach English here is one of the top business.
Uh-huh.
um,
Wow.
yeah, there are many academies, schools of English everywhere. People are trying to learn English for more than 5 years and they don't talk any word. It's also the system of teaching, the
Hmm.
structure of the teaching could be not ramp. Yeah,
Yeah, it
no,
could be changed, actually.
yeah, need to be changed, but it's inaccurate. But here people are trying to learn English, everyone in everywhere, but
Hmm.
you can't find people that talk in English properly.
Yeah.
Mm,
That actually speak English. So remember,
yeah.
we talk. This is an error that's very common. We talk to people, or we talk about things, or talk about people, but we actually speak a language.
Mm, mm, yeah, yeah.
So my dad makes that mistake, by the way. So a native speaker of English. So one thing I've heard about some countries is that even the English teachers in the grammar schools in elementary and high school actually cannot speak English. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's
Speak
probably one reason.
speak English properly. No, they know talk in English some sentences, but have a conversation and having knowing idioms is very difficult here.
Yeah, so they can do survival English, but they can't really have a conversation about like you have, cultural differences, racism, things like
Yeah.
that. And how about in Hungary? What is the language education like in Hungary?
Yeah, I think language education is okay in Hungary.
Hmm?
Uh, for degree, and, it is needed to have English or German or other intermediate exam uh, to get a degree. So
Okay.
it is a must.
Hmm.
It,
Hmm.
it, it is a must. Yeah, and regarding getting a better job and appropriate job degree or 1 or 2 degrees are also a must.
Hmm. A question for you.
Parallel foreign languages knowledge.
Yeah. Question for you. Just I haven't traveled to all the countries in Europe, but it seems that the ones that have the better English skills are the ones that when they have TV from other countries, they actually they actually use subtitles and they keep the shows in the original language. Keep the TV shows and movies um,
I
in the
have
original language.
I heard about this, and this is a fact. People that countries that have television in the original version, in English in original, has easier easier way to learn English. I was talking 2 days ago with a people from a Romanian people that listen every sub
Uh-huh.
movie in Spanish, and they talk Spanish so easily
So they
only for
so
for
yeah, they speak Spanish so easily because that's one of the reasons I learned Finnish because I could watch a show in my own language and then I could read the subtitles.
yeah. Finland could be one of the most difficult language perhaps
Yeah,
to learn.
Finnish and Hungarian are from the same language family,
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and
and and they have this
Finnish and Hungarian language are relative.
similar origin, but nobody knows what that origin is. But the grammar is similar. But I in my Finnish class there was a lady from Hungary, and she said no, it's not easier because she's from Hungary.
Yeah,
'Cause-
Hungarian language is very strange for foreigners.
yeah, it's very very different.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think English is easier than German.
do you?
Yeah,
Okay, and but I think like for English speakers, German and Spanish and and French are easier to learn than Russian or Chinese or Japanese or Hungarian or Finnish. So,
mm.
and I think that because English is closer to German and Spanish and so forth. And in my area, we have I live 5 miles from a town that has 80% Mexican Americans, and they all speak Spanish. So in my area, Spanish is kind of like a second language here.
Holy,
Uh-huh.
is there a conflict between Americans and the Mexican people?
I think there was, and in my town, in the another the town I was born in, there has been two huge Mexican gangs,
Mhm.
and one of them actually was broken up, and so they've had some that town has a reputation for being dangerous because of the Mexican gangs.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that, especially when I was in high school, um, that it was like that. But I think as the years have progressed, it's not and people are no longer their parents and their parents and their grandparents grew up here, and so they're just as much American as we are. But they just have a culture. They just have a subculture that maybe they are what we say passively bilingual. Do you guys know what that means?
Mhm.
To
And
be to be
what is the
passive
yeah and what is
passively bilingual.
yeah, it is very strange. And what is the official language in your areas?
And
English or Spanish?
the United States does not have an official language.
Yeah, I know, but um, focusing on
And
your
I,
areas, what is about the Spanish language?
well, in Idaho, I mean, everywhere in the states, English is still the language of commerce.
Mhm.
Um, but you can say, for example, Rafa, as a Spanish speaker, can actually go to pretty much anywhere in the U.S., find Spanish speakers, and stay in their community and never learn English.
Really?
Yeah, and it's very possible you have, and like in this area, there are Spanish grocery stores, and then of course Spanish restaurants. So there are people, and then of course we have the illegal immigrant problem
Yeah,
here. Where
is there any problem administration for Spanish people?
personally, I don't see the illegal immigrants as a problem. And the
Mhm.
reason I don't, and maybe it's because I've lived abroad for so long, I don't see it as a problem because number one, the United States is a country of immigrants.
Mhm.
Number two, the illegal immigrants will do jobs that other people will not do.
Mhm.
So that helps our economy. And so I don't, I personally don't see it as a problem,
Mhm.
um, where a lot of people in this area do.
Yeah.
Um,
So U.S. government are able to handle this situation.
yeah. Well, since the U.S. does not have an official language, um, it's really good for foreigners because, like for example, you could go to the U.S. and something could happen and you're in a hospital or you're at a police station and they are required to find somebody to interpret for you.
Mhm.
And so they'll find a Hungarian who could actually interpret for you. And same as Rafa. And Spanish is easier because Spanish is like the second most common language spoken in the U.S.,
Yeah, it
possibly the
sounds good.
first.
It sounds good.
Yeah. So and say for example, if you immigrated to the US and you immigrated to an area that had, I think it's 20 or 25% Hungarian speakers, you could
Mhm.
even take your driver's license in Hungarian.
Mhm.
So you have to have a certain percentage, and then so like when I was in graduate school in Illinois, they had a huge Korean population. So
Mhm.
My Korean students were all able to take their driver's license test in Korean.
Mhm. Okay.
So, and that's because of that. Uh, uh, because we have no official language, and I think I mean, linguists and language teachers do not want the U.S. to adopt an official language because it's better for foreigners when they come here for us not to have English as the official language, but it is the language of commerce. So, yeah. We just have a few more minutes left, maybe 2 more minutes, and we never really got to these questions. You guys did very well, and I hope you kept up with the chat. I sometimes wrote out different issues I heard, and sometimes I actually said it. But let's talk about this question right here. What does pet peeve mean? Does anybody know what this is?
That is a small animal.
No. Rafa, do you have an idea?
No.
Okay. Right. Pet peeve are things that annoy you. So these things are actually your pet peeves. So Rafa, racism is a pet peeve. When people talk too loud in public places, it's a pet peeve. For you, for Cornell, it's when people just don't want to learn English or they don't keep their promises. Or like for me, one of my pet peeves is, I guess I didn't share that with you. My pet peeve is when people complain, and especially when they say they are bored. That's my pet peeve. I'm bored, like a child. I'm bored. Do you have? I don't know what to do. Well, find something. Be creative. Think about it.
Yeah.
And that's been a pet peeve of mine since I was 9 years old. So I would hear my 16-year-old brother say, "I'm bored," and it just drove me crazy.
Drove me crazy.
So, yeah. So, but that's what a pet peeve is. So all of these that we described are actually pet peeves. So if that's a new word for you guys. And it looks like we're actually out of time. Thank you very much for your participation in today's lesson, and I hope you learned some new words and were able to get a lot of practice because so many people just don't have the chance to actually just practice.
Yeah, okay.
So
nice class. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.